I don't know. Jay's got some kind of stripper gig or something tomorrow night. I don't know what he's doing. What are you doing tomorrow, Jay?
I'm doing lightning from upstairs. It was thunder from down under, but then I joined and it all kind of twisted. It just, apparently you're supposed to be in shape for this, which I was not informed about. No, I got a holiday gig. Last minute holiday gig.
Do you have a stripper gig tomorrow too, Howie?
No, I don't, but I'll probably be naked doing laundry.
It's funny because that's half the name I'm using. Tomorrow night I'm DJ Butt Naked.
Nice.
Yeah.
I do what I can.
So it's late. We decided to do this late, but we're doing it. And Boston John's not with us
not
tonight.
That you're going to know any of this.
No.
The first 5 minutes is just of no use to any of you since you're like,
there's nothing to like
Tuesday. What's he talking about?
Let's be topical. It's the last show before Christmas. It doesn't matter. No one's going to see this until next year anyway.
Yeah.
That's true.
So
we're going to give a little bit of a review, I'm sure, about tracks we played this year because that's music and things like that. But
I will talk about some stuff. I've done some stuff recently that I haven't talked about.
Oh.
But maybe we'll talk about it later. I don't know. We'll see. But first, in honor of Boston John, who's not here.
Yeah, he's not dead. By the way, it's not in honor because he's dead or anything.
No, it's not like in memoriam of John. It's just that he's something else tonight. Yes,
we miss
making money. We're gonna do Boston John's record roundup.
Yeah, where's the music?
Well, we can skip the music this week. Skip John. We'll skip the music. So, good. Howie, would you like to go first?
Yes, I would. My pick would be Machine Head from Deep Purple.
Oh, wow. Classic.
And the reason that I'm picking that song is because of the reason they did it the way they did. Everybody knows the classic Smoke on the Water, which was the last track that they actually did in Montreux, France, but they actually, post-produced that at Abbey Road Studio. But the album itself was actually recorded in a casino that was closed for the season. They had to move, and they used the Rolling Stone mobile studio, and they actually stapled the mattresses to the walls.
That works.
Of that particular hotel, which I'm sure they had to pay for, but
rock and roll.
The reason that they did that the way that they did was they all agreed that we should do an album that we could do live that sounds like the album. And I thought, man, that is awesome. How many people, and I'm not knocking on anybody that uses backing tracks or anything else, but they did not use any backing tracks. They mastered it at Abbey Road Studios, and they put it out. And then when they toured in support of that album, they sounded like the album.
What songs are on that album?
There's Highway Star.
Okay.
Smoke in the Water.
All the classics.
Water. All the classics.
Yeah.
I mean, my one from Tokyo on that?
Yeah. Tokyo is on that as well.
Space Trucker's on that.
Space Trucker is on that.
What other Deep Purple album do you need?
I mean,
Live in Japan. Made in Japan is really good.
It's almost a greatest hits album, really. But that's my pick. That's my pick.
Yeah.
Jay has requested to go last. Are you still there, or did you figure something out?
No, I got something. I'm going to one I was going to do a couple weeks ago. And I'm looking it up now, and I'm still kind of. This goes back to what we've talked about repeatedly about the size of albums.
Hold on, guys.
Okay.
I forgot to hit recording on this. Let's start over.
No, you didn't. It said recording in progress.
It says recording up on the top.
Oh, it does. Oh,
You're
good.
recording.
We just didn't get the thing on the screen, but
yeah,
it's
and
late.
I don't want to be the police of music, but I think it was Switzerland where they did that because they even say in "Smoke on the Water,"
Montreux, Switzerland.
But they even say in the album about Frank Zappa and the Mothers, because they were playing a concert that night in the casino.
In the casino, on a pier.
Some idiot with a flare gun burned the place to the ground.
The lyrics are some stupid with a flare gun.
Burn the place to the ground. Yeah.
It had a thatched roof. But that was the very last song that they did.
Yeah.
They already had the other stuff.
Right. Yeah, it was crazy.
And that became the big number one hit of the album, but it's the greatest hits album, for sure.
Every time you hear about a band that's like they needed one more song, whether it's Def Leppard needed one more song and they did Pour Some Sugar on Me and they did it in 20 minutes, or it's Deep Purple with we need one more track. Well, here's what happened, and they write the lyrics of the actual happening. And they come up with the reverse of a Beethoven, dun 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 dun, and they reverse it and do it on guitar. I mean, every band's greatest hit always seems to be the throwaway, or we weren't going to do it, or this was a B-side. Red Hot Chili Peppers were not going to put out Under the Bridge. It was a poem.
Oh my God!
They were done with the album, and I saw an interview recently with Anthony Kiedis. He's like, "Yeah," and Rick Rubin's like, I'd like one more track. You got anything? He goes, what's that? Oh, it's a poem. Well, let me hear it. And he reads it. He goes, no, that's the number one hit. No, it's just a poem I wrote real quick, took 2 seconds. He's like, no, that's a hit. And they gave it to the band and was like, within the hour, boom, the song's done. Mine is actually, I can't believe it only has 8 songs on it because I think every single song on this is amazing. Is the debut album from Seal. And when I say the debut album from Seal, that's important because his second album was also entitled Seal. He's actually one of the few artists that has managed to not only have 2 albums with the same name, but he did it twice in a row. So Seal and Seal. But the first Seal, which of course has Killers on it, which has Crazy on it, which
great
the best song in my opinion is Show Me, which is a great track. Seal's one of those artists that if you're not familiar with his work and you listen to him a little, he becomes very, very addictive, and you find that you can go through a disc on repeat and enjoy yourself. And he's got a real wide range. He did a Motown kind of cover when that was in vogue a few years back. And he does a great job on those tracks, but I really think his first and second are his best work, but especially his first where he came right out of the gate. It just, every song on it's just beautifully written. I think his voice is great. The lyrics are amazing. And one of the cool facts about it is there's no lyric sheet on it. And the reason being that Seal's take on this, and I'm 100% in agreement, is I'm not going to tell you what the word is. So if you come up with a word, that's what you heard, and that's what it is to you. It's not my place to tell you this is the actual word.
I don't understand.
It's up for interpretation, is what he's saying.
Why? Yeah. But why wouldn't you put the lyrics? Why would you leave it like, we've done this show before about misunderstood lyrics,
Well, I sometimes it doesn't mean anything. I mean, Kiss from a Rose is like that. What is Kiss from a Rose on the Grave? It's nothing. It's rhyming words.
Okay. Right. But I think that's the whole thing. It's his sense of it is, I'm not here to tell you the meaning or anything other than here is the piece of art I give you.
It means what it means to you. Yeah.
And let it mean to you what it means to you. Exactly.
The fun one.
So it's art. It's art.
Well, yeah. I mean, there was a lot of that stuff. I mean, you can go back to the progressive stuff in the 70s. It was all like that. What the hell is Yes's Roundabout about?
Well,
what in the hell is any song by America about? I mean, and they're folk, but you still don't know.
But look at, I think the most misunderstood is Elton John.
Horse with no name.
But it felt good to get out of the rain.
I'm still stuck on alligator lizards in the air. I'm still stuck on that.
Hey,
I can't move past it. I can't move past Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
Yeah.
But that's another show. But hey, yeah, I mean,
they call Alabama the Crimson Tide. Call me Deacon Blues. Or even the better line is, they've got a name for the winners in this world. I want a name when I lose. They call Alabama the Crimson Tide. Call me Deacon Blues. That's the two lines. But,
yeah, that's very confusing.
Some of Seal's words, they are a little sketchy. There's times you're kind of like, did he say this or did he say that? Yeah. But I think he wants you to ingest it in however it comes to you. And I think it's a little cool. I think Elton John is worse about this. Elton John needs lyric sheets because half the time in Elton John's early work, I defy, you could have a contest for $1 million, write the lyrics of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. I know. Slow song. I do too.
That was Bernie Taupin.
Oh, no, it's definitely Bernie Taupin.
He wrote all the lyrics. And
but you listen to them and you think out loud, well, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road.
I think I know what that song's about.
Really?
Yeah, I think I do.
Well, tell us.
What you want to hear?
Yes.
I think I figured the song out because there's clues in it. There's little clues.
Oh, there's a lot of clues in it.
Yeah, I think the song is about a Brit living abroad in Australia and going back to Britain. Because Yellow Brick Road is in Oz. They call Australia Oz. Talking about hunting the horny-backed toad. There's a lot of things in there. I think this is about leaving like Melbourne or Sydney or something and going back to England. I think it's what it's about.
That's interesting. Very interesting.
Listen to it again.
Yes, I am.
Well,
and you also have the Gold Coast
line
in Australia.
When are you going to come down?
Yep.
When are you going to come down?
Yep.
When are you going to land?
Down under.
I should have stayed on the farm. I should have listened to my old man. You can't hold me forever. I didn't sign up with you. I'm not a present for your friends to open.
This boy's too young to
be singing the blues. So goodbye,
the dogs of society. How you can't catch me in your penthouse. I'm going back to my plow. Back to the howling old owl in the woods, hunting the horny-backed toad.
Yep. You know what I find interesting?
I decide my future lies.
Jay is reading off of Google, and
I have a telephone. I have it. I'm reading. Yeah. I can't read. I have to look
a couple of vodka and tonics.
That is great. I love that. That's what makes the show funny.
But if it was playing, I'd be with Brian on it.
No, I kind of think it has something to do with Australia. Like a young man going to a big city in Australia with some high society woman. And he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. I got to get out of here. I'm going to go back home.
Yeah.
Wherever home is.
Listen to it again. Yeah. Yeah.
My future lies beyond the yellow. But I've heard Australia.
Then I wonder what this is. I bet they'll shoot down the plane. I wonder what that's in reference to.
I don't know. It'll take you a couple of vodka and tonics to put you on your feet again.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll get a replacement. There's plenty of me to be found. Mongrels.
Listen to this guy.
Yeah. Who ain't got a penny certain for tidbits like you on the ground? Yep.
He doesn't even have Google up.
Dude, how many times have you heard the damn song? You can learn this.
This is simply a light. But if the song's playing, no. Well, the one I still like is the Benny and the Jets, where it's like mohair suit.
Yeah.
And it's like you look at the lyrics right around that line, and they're all confusing.
That's about a band.
Yeah. Oh, it is, but.
Yeah, the band is Benny and the Jets. It's kind of like Souls of Swing in that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Which was a real band.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was a real band, but it was.
No. Mark Knopfler saw them play in a
place. Okay.
Called Sultans. And like he literally wrote it after going to see this little like pub band called Sultans of Swing. And like every line in the song, he tells the story of seeing the band.
Right.
And you listen to the song, you're like, okay, I totally get it now.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause everything he says happened. Like there's really nobody there, but it's last call and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
For
check out.
years, I thought the lyrics was, I did a Chevy in the dark. It's raining in the... I'm like, okay, this is America. He's driving a Chevy, No.
Oh, I did a
Shiver
Chevy
in the dark.
Yeah, Shiver in the dark.
Misunderstood lyrics.
Raining in the park.
BSRs.
Meanwhile.
Yeah. BSR interpretation here of misunderstood lyrics.
Did a Chevy in the dark.
I screwed y'all up there. My pick this week, has anybody ever heard of, Jay may have, DJ Andy Smith?
Yes.
Ring a bell. Could you tell us about DJ Andy Smith?
Heard, but really can't now.
Okay. Well, this goes back to some history you and I have, Jay. DJ Andy Smith released a mixed CD, whatever,
right,
in 1988 called The Document.
Oh, yes. This does go back to us. Yes. The Document.
Yes. So,
the famous Document.
Yes.
Al Green and...
The Document is interesting because it's kind of a breakbeat album. It's kind of a mixtape. The weird part about The Document is it's so listenable, but it's so diverse and obscure and maybe not even obscure, but the songs that this guy's putting together in a clever way.
Yeah.
Just, ow. I'm going to give you the track listing. Here's the track listing. Okay. Starts off with some general beats. And then he goes into Jungle Brothers, How You Want It. Then he goes into Drew, the Manja, Come Clean, The Meters, Sissy, Strut, The James Gang, Funk 49, Barry White, Can't Seem to Find Him,
Love that
Collective, Stop Ya Skimmis, Marvin Gaye, T Plays It Cool, which is an instrumental that's really good.
That's it.
Tom Jones, Looking Out My Window, Clockwork Voodoo Freaks, Def Mix Throwdown, Grandmaster Flash, Adventures on the Wheels of Steel, Peggy Lee Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, SL Troopers Movement, Spencer Davis Group, I'm a Man, and wraps it up with Barry White with Can't Seem to Find Him. It's goofy, but it's good.
How does he fit Funk 49 in that?
It's neat, Howie. You're going to have to check out The Document.
Yeah. It was Marvin Gaye, not Al Green, that I was thinking of. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah. But it's good.
It's weird, but it's...
Yeah, I think you kind of turned me on to that, Brian, because I remember it came up in conversation about...
Is that
something in The Document?
I remember what it was. It was the first Atlantic City show that we did together. And the only thing I remember was I was going outside for a cigarette and you were coming in with somebody, and I don't know who. And they were saying, yeah, Jay, you should check out The Document. And I just overheard that. I said, oh, that's an amazing mix.
Yeah.
Jungle Brothers, Spencer Davis Group. And I just kept walking, and you came back later and said, oh my God, I couldn't believe you just in passing knew what that was. That obscure.
Yeah. That's it. Because I didn't know what they were talking about.
It's like,
I really did. I was like
I think the perception that you had was they were trying to impress you with telling you about something cool, and just in passing, I knew what it was already.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Is there a way we can get a copy?
That was the Lady Gaga.
I can hook you up. Huh?
That was the Lady Gaga show.
Yeah, it was. No, I don't know if you can buy The Document. I mean, I'm sure you can on disc. In fact, I got Discogs open right now, and I would recommend that you listen to The Document as one piece, like just from front to back. Listen to it; it's very interesting. I'm clicking on buy a copy, and there's a bunch of them in Europe. I'm seeing one for sale used.
Yeah, it's on YouTube too.
Oh, it is.
40 minutes long. In full. Yeah.
And
nice.
DJ Andy Smith.
It's called Document.
The Document.
The Document. And it's had 12,000 views in 3 years. That's it.
I'm seeing it for, if you want to own a hard copy of it, I'm seeing a CD of it for $1.99 plus $4.25 shipping on Discogs. Some of them are like outrageously expensive. A lot of them are in Europe, but the prices are all over the place. And to my knowledge, I'm seeing that in Europe they actually had this on 2 LPs. That's kind of dope. I'd love to have a copy of the document on LP.
Oh, click on
Yeah,
that.
That'd be
boy.
really cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, most of it's CD. I mean, that's but it's good.
Yeah.
We've never talked about that particular mix, and like I
Yep.
said, I think it was from '98, maybe. That's
That's
really good.
That's
It-
amazing that they had so many different genres in that.
Well, that's what's so interesting about it. That they were able to take all of these different genres and put them into one mix, and it made sense. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't know if he did this and thinking it was going to be like a throwaway mix tape kind of thing.
Did
but
you know he's done
I really
parts
like
2 and 3 of the document?
I haven't heard him. Document part 1 is kind of my religion
That's
on
the
that.
mainstay. The next one was called the Trojan document.
Huh.
Then the next one was called the Green Sleeves document.
Interesting.
Well,
There's
look
like a
at
little write up.
Jay
If you go to
on-
YouTube and look
at-
up DJ
look at
Andy
Jay on-
Smith, the
on
document.
Google. Holy cow.
We know, Howie, some of us, the memory isn't what it once was. Just saying.
Well,
I'm getting a little assistance
I
here. It's called the
barely
computer.
remember. I barely remember the 30s.
Well, at this point, 90 years into your life, I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
These things do happen.
92.
yeah.
92, I
I
apologize.
always thought 92 was just a funny number. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
if you
that's
go,
my
if
pick.
you go into YouTube, you can find it. DJ Andy Smith. the
I
document.
love that. I love that.
check it out. Check out the document, guys. I think a lot of you will dig it because it's got something for everybody.
But you know what it is
And
too?
it's done well.
Cool. It's cool.
Yeah, man. Hook me
It's
up.
very
And it's cool, meaning if you've got this, it's a go-to in a weird element. Like you just suddenly
Right.
shit. What can I do now that's going to separate me from the pack?
This is
If you're a
definitely for your
DJ
listening
today,
pleasure.
this is definitely-
yeah.
But you could also
Yeah.
drop a track or two off here, and
Yeah.
people would be like, "Excuse me, what the hell was that?"
I've done it.
I've
And
never. heard
I
that.
went into the
Never heard
document
it.
not knowing the track listing and just like, what? This is Peggy Lee. What the hell is going on here?
Well, here's what's
You're
funny.
Tom Jones. You're like, what?
They have this
When
great
you're here-
write up on him, but they don't say the track listing.
That's almost cooler. It's almost
I
cooler
think it is too.
not knowing the track listing. Because
Yeah,
you're going to
no.
hear something and say, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
I didn't know T Plays It Cool. I didn't know that track. So I had no idea what it was. I had to look it up. So I discovered music listening to this.
Why not just use Google
That was
Well,
right out of the gate?
before
isn't
Google,
that the
perhaps?
whole purpose of the show to discover music?
Yeah, I love it. I love
Great. This is great. I am gonna look this up. I hope we can.
It's something you can listen to. You can lay down,
Exactly.
get ready to go to sleep and listen to it if you wanted to. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I remember I used to listen to it a lot, like on road trips. Like if I was going to drive somewhere for an hour, I would put the document on.
No kidding.
And I would never skip a track. I would just listen to the document.
Yeah.
Wow, it's that long?
It's
It's
40
fun.
minutes.
40 minutes.
Wow, that's cool.
It's good. I don't know. I thought it would be an interesting one to bring up. A lot of people don't know it.
Well,
I agree 100%.
You have our interest.
This is
100%.
the Discogs page for it right here. Andy Smith, the document.
It's like a safe, and it just says the document. DJ Andy Smith. Yeah,
there's
that's it.
There's the image.
Yep. That's the same image on YouTube.
So I don't know, kids. Check it out.
Wow.
Sometimes you need music that's cool for no
what's
other
neat
reason
about-
than it is.
You know what's neat about the show is we're learning things, but the viewers are learning as well.
Oh, yeah.
Look, you know what I've been thinking about lately, though? And the document, I think, is a really good segue into this. And I don't know if you guys are feeling me or not.
Go for it.
I'll try to make a long story short on this. I've been messing around with apps, okay, for different things. I've got this head unit I'm putting in my dad's truck, and it's really cool.
Right.
It's an Android head unit, and you can run like all these entertainment apps. You can, Spotify is one that I'll never run, but it's there. Pandora is one that I'll never run, but it's there. It also allows you to do video apps. So you can do like Amazon Prime Video and Netflix and Disney Plus and Paramount and whatever. I got Motor Trend on there.
Right.
And they're all like, okay, they're streaming services. So you go in there and you pick whatever you want to watch and you watch it.
And that's a good idea to do while you're driving.
Well, this is me. I'll explain. You're not supposed to watch movies when you're driving. Now, I
think we're all clear on that. We're not providing legal advice here at all, by the way.
I've had screens with DVD players in my vehicle since 2008.
Mm-hmm.
I've been putting them in Pioneer. They're all Pioneer. They got DVD players.
Yep.
And there's a hack you can do where you can watch the DVD or adjust things on the GPS when the parking brake's not on. It's a little wire you switch around. I always switch the wire around to do that. However, I've never watched a movie while I was driving down the road. But if you tell me I can't do something, you better believe I'm going to try to figure out how it can be done.
Yeah, I've done that with mine. It did work in mine.
Yeah.
They had a USB input that the guy installed. He goes, hey, here's your USB input on the bottom. You just plug in, you can watch movies. I'm like, really?
Right.
He goes, yeah, from any USB source.
Yeah.
And it did. It worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not that I'm going to do it, but it's cool if I want to do it, right? But why would I do it? I do watch the news in the car when I'm waiting for something. We go to a vet a lot. And the vet is the way they put things together now. You don't make an appointment at this vet. It's first come, first serve. And they don't have a waiting room right now because they got rid of that for COVID. So you sit in the parking lot of the vet and wait your turn.
Come out to you. Yep.
Yeah.
We have been out there for 3 hours.
2.
It's a really good vet. You know, they got good doctors and the prices are incredible, but there's a wait. So while I'm sitting in the car, I'll put the news on or something, usually the news, because
I hope the battery doesn't die.
Stories, whatever, on my phone, I do this on my phone.
Right.
So I'm thinking, okay, I go to gigs and I'm early and I got nothing to do. I'll sit in the car and watch this or something like that. What I'm getting at is this. There's a difference between streaming something you want to watch and just putting a TV channel on and watching it. Whatever happens to be on, that's what you're going to look at.
Sure.
Because what I find myself doing, because we have Netflix and all that stuff, I find myself looking for something to watch longer than I actually watch anything.
Yeah, no, I do that.
I can spend an hour and a half.
You can listen and pay attention to the road.
No, I'm not. We're off of that. I'm talking about just sitting upstairs in the living room. I go on Netflix. I spend more time looking for something to watch than I do watching anything.
Well, because you have too much access. When YouTube first came on the scene, I remember looking for, much like I did with Napster. Napster, I didn't think I was stealing because I was going after things that were out of print. So
I was going after things I already had, but I didn't have to rip them.
Right. I wonder if they have the Alcatraz second album, Disturbing the Peace. Oh my God, they do. That's out of print. I'm going to borrow that or share it or whatever we used the terminology back then.
Yeah.
And when YouTube really got on my radar, which I remember like it was yesterday, which would have been 2007, I suddenly was going from all these DJ forums on an off night in the winter, and I found a YouTube link, and I clicked on it, and it was the BSR, and I'm like, "Whoa, what the fuck is this? Excuse me, what is this? This is amazing. I gotta look at this," and it just grew. Now today, if I just want to listen to music, there's between Sirius XM on my phone, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, it's overwhelming. Like I do the same thing, Brian. I'm like,
it is.
You know what? I think I'm going to listen to a live tech set from this DJ. And I spend 20 minutes looking to hear one song.
Well, here's what I was getting at. And this is just something I wanted to say. And I don't know if anybody else feels the same way I do. Maybe I'm a dinosaur, but I enjoy programming. I enjoy turning on HBO and seeing what the hell is on HBO and watching it.
Right.
Maybe it's in the middle of a movie. I don't care. Well, what the hell is this? This is interesting. I never would have thought of watching this. Opposed to me trying to hand select something to watch, just turn on the TV and whatever's on is on. It's the same thing with music. And that's why I love XM, because I can go to an XM channel and I'm not like Spotifying the whole thing. I'm not saying, oh, well, I want to hear Depeche Mode right now. No, what is Richard Blade playing?
They have
on
a
33.
logarithm, though.
What?
You know, they have a logarithm. When I go on to like Netflix or HBO, they will give me a 98%, or whatever.
The computer is telling you what they think you might like based on your viewing habits.
On what you listened to before or watched before. Yeah.
I'm of the opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. And this may not be a popular opinion, but I'm of the opinion that there are human beings out there who might be able to turn me onto something a little better than an algorithm can.
I agree.
I believe it. I believe it.
I'm going to be more likely to discover something new if I'm just listening to something that a DJ has programmed. Or
you're proof of that. You're proof of that. You just turned us on to that tune before. So
that's why it was a good segue into it. So I'm just saying I have an appreciation for programming. That's all I'm really trying to say about it.
Do you go out of your way to listen to, like, Duff McKagan has a thing called 3 Chords for Life, I think, where he's doing like Dolls tracks and Johnny Thunders and weird punk tracks, and his whole point of his show is to give you music that you may not know. Tom Morello of Rage Against the Machine has a couple shows on Sirius, and again, the programming is that there's no programming, meaning there's no point to what comes next. It comes next because it fits with what he likes. So you get to see, and sometimes that is the programming. I love when a DJ, when I go to the gym all the time, I listen to really hard metal. And there's a guy from a band called Trivium who now has a show on Liquid Metal, which is like, I think 48 or something, or 38, whatever it is on Sirius. But he'll do his tracks and they have nothing to do with the other 23 hours in the day on Liquid Metal. Yeah. And I kind of like that. I like when someone comes in and says, hey, you know what? You may never have heard this. So I'm going to play you Tank, and I'm going to play you, Grim Reaper and Halloween and this and this and this. And that's sort of the fun of it. I tried for a little while with Michelle on Sundays to do, and I'm going to go back to it probably this weekend, what I call, what was I calling it? Like Serious Roulette. Yeah. Meaning get to the main channel guide and literally just go without looking, just hit a button.
Man, you end up on Conway Twitty's channel or something.
But you know what? I'm guaranteed within 5 songs, I'll hear something. I'll go, man, I love this track. I never would have heard this.
Yeah.
A few years ago, do you know who the Civil Wars are, Brian?
Pardon?
Civil Wars, the band.
What? No,
they've broken up. They're not together anymore. But I think about maybe 4 years ago, they had a track called Barton Hollow. It's a guy and a girl. And it's pretty much him on guitar and their vocals. And I think you'd like it if you heard it. It's called Barton Hollow. And I only found it because I was searching for something else.
Yeah.
And off to the right side, it was one of those like, viewers also watched this. And I'm like, oh, what is this? And there's actually times I'll search a song and won't listen to it. But I'm curious, if I like song A, what other songs are people like me into?
Well, that's algorithm. I mean, that's what that does.
No, but it's about you create it yourself by deep diving what the general public is doing.
I'm talking about something a little different tonight. What I'm talking about is actual just enjoying some programming that someone else has decided.
Well, yeah, like I said about Tom Morello or Duff McKagan doing their own program.
I'll tell you how I do it and there's a point to all this. So XM, yeah, got it in the car, got it on my phone, listened to it. I like disco, so I put on Studio 54 radio.
Yep.
As soon as Studio 54 radio starts to become repetitive, and I can almost predict what it's going to, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm done with this. I'll switch.
BPM does that famously.
Yeah, I'll switch to the groove.
Yeah.
Let's see what the groove's got going on. I'll listen to the groove for a while.
I go to Diplo when BPM.
I go to Diplo. I'll do Diplo.
I go to Diplo because BPM after the fifth song, you're like, okay, they're in a rut. They're doing music, soft girl vocal, build up, big break.
Yeah, every song kind of sounds like
this is too much. Let me see what Diplo's doing, and his stuff is all over the map.
I like Diplo's stuff now. I'll tell you, I'll give you a perfect example of what I was talking about. So I don't remember exactly where I was going or why I was going there, but I was going for a long ride in the car in my Mustang, and I'm pulling out of the little village I keep it in out in the country. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know specifically what I want to listen to, like just a little, maybe more alternative or indie, but I'm going to go ahead and put on Richard Blade's 33, the what is it called? First Wave.
Yeah.
Expecting to hear Depeche Mode and
the Stranglers. And,
yeah. So I'm just going to check this out for a while. So I'm driving on the road and it's, I don't know, something. And all of a sudden, Billy Idol's Blue Highway comes on. I forgot about this song.
That's a great track.
Oh my God. And I cranked it up and I drove fast. And now that song's back in my mind.
Yeah.
And I like it. I forgot that I liked it. It wasn't a hit. It wasn't a single, but Richard Blade threw it on because Richard Blade was my programmer for the afternoon. And he did a fantastic job. I put my musical faith in Richard Blade for the afternoon. As a DJ, I like others to like look at me and put their faith in me as their music programmer for the evening. Instead of trying to program me.
You can't see you. You can see the crowd you have.
That's another show. But
no, I understand that. I'm saying the faith, I mean, you know, I didn't say it tonight. I may never say it, but Michelle Andicello has a great album called Grace. And there's a great song in it called Bittersweet, which I love.
Oh my God, that is a good song.
It's a great song. And I can't imagine. I have yet to do the gig where I looked at the crowd and said, oh, watch this, and put it on. Yeah. Now, I could probably have it on at a lower volume and people be like, yeah, it's background, whatever. But it's the kind of song that I feel is so impactful that if I programmed it in, I'd want that response. And believe it or not, this may shock you. What is it? Channel 8, the 80s channel. I think once a week they have Rick Springfield do a DJ set where he's the DJ for like an hour.
Yeah.
He pulls some pretty cool tracks out of nowhere. And I'm like, oh, I kind of like this. Yeah. And as much as you're trying to get away from terrestrial radio with Sirius XM, there are times that you want someone to say, you know, Michelle hates this. I love this. And I haven't done it in probably 20 years. But man, go to a restaurant. Remember, you ever watched the show Quincy?
Yeah. Lived in a trailer in the parking lot. That's all I remember about him.
Okay. Well,
was that Trapper John?
No, that was Quincy. I would think Trapper John too, but I know it was Quincy.
They were friends.
But they would go to restaurants. They'd always have that bar restaurant they'd go to, and they'd sit down and be like, oh, I need a juicy steak, medium rare, potato, and a salad. And that was it. They never looked at the menu. And I just thought, man, I want to go to a restaurant someday and just be like, you know what? Or it was some other movie like it that I saw, and they were just like, you know what? I trust you. Just bring me what's good. Where they then would bring you an appetizer and a main course. You didn't order. And you'd be
I've done that. I've done that.
I have too. I've done it.
That reminds me of the time that you and Chris Cox went into that dive bar and the guy just put on whatever he
crushed
wanted.
It. Yeah, crushed it.
Loved it. You loved it.
Chris tipped him. I tipped him. I Shazammed the whole set. Absolutely crushed it. Because
I think we need to embrace that concept.
Crushed it. Oh, I agree.
Because that's what we do. And there's so many.
But you know what the best part, Brian? The best part of that night was you had a Grammy Award, or Grammy nominated remixer DJ. You had Schmucky Temecula Wedding Guy, me. You had 3 other DJs who were all Vegas and Boston DJs. And this guy didn't for a second think of anything other than what works. And he just played.
Yeah.
He didn't look at the crowd. He didn't get lost in the moment. He didn't get stuck on the format. He was like, because I went up and I'm like, where's all this music coming from? He's like, oh, I found these 45s in the garage today. And you showed up with them cold? Yeah.
Oh, I've been to those.
They weren't mixed. They were just drop. There was no lag. He kind of got it together in his head a little bit, but it was like, oh, this would be cool. I'll play Breakwater. Here you go.
That's the beat.
Yeah. Like in the middle of it.
I wonder why, Brian, you don't have a Sirius XM station. You're the best.
I don't know, because I'm a civilian.
No, you're one of the best programmers I know.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
you want a program without an audience? Let's get back to that question. Without an audience, how comfortable? Because the next test for Brian would be to do a Twitch channel. That'd be the easiest thing in the world. Would simply be to sit where he is, with everything he's got running right now. Open a Twitch account, which he already has, and hit. No. But I'm saying he could sit right where he is and start going back. The problem with mixing that I've always had is when there's a crowd in front of you, there's something to work with. When there isn't a crowd, are you solely playing for you? And if you are, it's going to be bizarre because you're going to suddenly halfway through get in the mood to be like, man, I got to hear some rap. Which
I don't know.
Work for an audience. I don't know.
I think we just did a show earlier tonight on what it was like back in the old days of DJing and things, and clubbing was something that I probably have a little more experience with than some of you guys.
Yeah,
but with
no internet,
a lot more.
Well, I was not only a DJ in the club, but I also frequented clubs. When I wasn't spinning, I was going to. And the attitude for me walking into any club, it could be a club in the burbs, it could be a club downtown, it could be something in the gay district, it could be anything. When you walk in the door, oh, I guess this is what's going on tonight. I'm going to be a part of it. But I'm not going to be an influencer as to what gets played. I'm just going to dig the scene. I'm not going to try to create the scene. I'm going to dig the scene.
Until
and it might not be what I had in mind, what I want to be here tonight. But I'm going to put my entertainment
spin on it.
No, not. I'm going to put my entertainment once in the hands of whoever this DJ is. Like they're just going to entertain me tonight with whatever they do. I'm not going to tell them what to play. I'm not going to suggest to play anything else. Nothing. I'm just going to go with it.
Until you have one too many, and then you are.
No. Back in the old days, you didn't have access to the booth.
Yeah, that's
true. You didn't go up and request songs. Not on a club.
I mistook. I thought you were playing.
No, I'm an attendee. I love walking into a room and just digging the vibe. I love it. I can't stand it when they got a vibe going on and Karen comes up and has to hear her song because no one wants to hear what I'm playing with a full dance floor. And that's Spotify. Spotify has trained people to hit the skip button. You're jamming. Everyone's having fun. It's a good flow. And you've got some bimbo on the dance floor going,
hey, play it 9 to 5.
There's something to be said for music on demand. Obviously, got it right back here. Pull a record. Had it forever. Music on demand is one of the oldest forms of this. Hey, I've got this record. I like it. I'm going to play it. Mm-hmm. But there's something to be said for somebody doing the programming for you. There's something special about it.
I think it's difficult for a lot of people to let go, though, Brian. Just like the concept of ordering off a menu that doesn't exist and saying, just bring me whatever you recommend. You know this place better than I do. Give me the best that you have to offer. I love, just like you, I love walking into an unknown element and being immersed in it and finding new things, because I'm not the programmer, nor am I there. Believe it or not, that's what I kind of don't like about open format. Open format tells me I'm going to hear things I already know. And we both realize when it comes to a crowd, unless it's a genre of music, it's very difficult to get a crowd to dance if they've never heard something. That's just the reality.
For mainstream crowds, yes.
I disagree with going into a restaurant and say, what do you recommend? Because they're going to give you the stuff that's almost spoiled.
What I do, and I just did it last week.
But I mean by that, Howie, is going in and saying,
here's what I did.
Just give me what you would have here, or what do you recommend? And I think you'd find people have more sympathy. I don't know that they would simply go, I got a sucker at table 4. I'm giving them the 3 specials that are almost gone bad. I think they'd buckle down and say, you know what? I would get the oysters to start with, and then I would have this, and then I would have that. I think people want to impress you, much like Brian's saying about programming. I think a DJ wants to impress the crowd, regardless of whether they're playing to them or not. They want to be able to deep dive and give you something you're not accustomed to.
Andy and I went out and we brought Blanca and Stevie with us to a decent place. It's a neat place. If you guys are ever in town and want to go, I'd be happy to take you. It's right down the road, and it's almost like the really good steakhouse, but not at the steakhouse prices. And it looks like Frank Sinatra might have had something to do with the decor in the place back in the 60s.
I love those.
It hasn't changed.
Like Ellis Island in Vegas.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like that.
There we go.
You could go in there, you get a pasta dish for $14, or you could get a really nice steak for 40 some bucks. But it would be $100 downtown. But it's the same thing.
Exactly.
So we go in there, thought it would be a nice, cool thing to do. Andy had never been. I've been a couple times. A friend of mine took me there a while back with Blanca and then back with Stevie before. And we go in, and the waitress comes up, and I said, "What's good?" And she said, "Well, we got some specials." So tell me about specials. So she did. And one thing that she mentioned was, and this is just, and Andy and I got excited and we enjoyed it, but most of you would be like, deep fried chicken livers as an appetizer.
Yeah, that's a no.
Yes, please. Absolutely. They were delicious. Never had them like that before, but it was good. It was really good.
Yeah, the old days would have had them. Would have been
very good.
Well, why do you like going to Golden Nugget to get the steak? Is it the price, or is it the atmosphere, or is it the quality?
It's the gumbo.
Well, I
go for the gumbo.
You
know that.
No,
you love the gumbo.
It's the price.
But it's also part of it. It's the experience when you're all said and done.
I've never
it's
been
that walking out. I took Colin to Vegas in July. We went to the steakhouse at Circus Circus. I wouldn't be caught dead in Circus Circus, but I've talked to enough people that eat steak and love steak who have gone to all the high-end casinos, and they're coming back to me going, the best steak in Vegas is Circus Circus. Colin and I went in there. I had a salad and a baked potato. He had New York strip. No, he had ribeye. Got him a ribeye. I think I had one drink. We had dessert. The bill was like $200. He's still talking about it.
Wow.
Every time we've had meat in his house, he's like, this isn't as good as Circus Circus. But it was the experience. This place is like 50 years old. They got the old style seats with the tuft buttons in them. The maitre d's in a tuxedo. The waiter comes over. You got a guy doing water and bread. It's the whole thing. At the end of the night, you got a story. And just like Brian's saying, when you leave a place where the DJ has done their job and expressed who they are, that's a moment in time that won't be recreated, because if they're doing open format, they have to play Drake and a minute 40 later cut, and then SZA, a minute 40 later cut. No, just give me what you want to give me as your expression of music.
Sometimes it's not okay. So admittedly, for weddings and things like that, I think we all can agree.
That's different.
that
You gotta
we have
go
to
with
go in
way
and we have
different.
to do this thing like this.
Yeah.
However, and Jay has
But you-
experienced this a little bit,
Yeah.
but there's those opportunities during cocktail and dinner
Oh yeah.
where you can just
you
do
can
things.
totally go out of left field.
And I've turned Jay onto tracks
Yep.
that he uses. It's a good feeling when you put something on and someone comes up to you and says, "What is this? This is really good."
Are we both thinking of
Yes.
Mr. Lionel Richie's voice right now?
Well, High on Sunshine, I'm thinking of. I'm also
That-
thinking of
Sunshine.
that
It's a
Traveler,
huge one.
that
Yeah.
Traveler music that I may have shared with you.
Yep.
That
No,
when you say
100%.
Jan Hammer meets America or something, I remember what it was.
Yeah. It's like I did a wedding
Weird.
this year where the guy's like, we get to cocktail and he's like, yeah, just some cool groove. And I see the two uncles with the black short sleeve shirts. They both have the gray big mustaches that come down to here, the sunglasses, and the same exact fedora hats. And I'm like, I know those guys. I know exactly what's going to put them on their ear.
ZZ Top.
No, they were like lowrider. They were total like cholo lowrider guys, but
Yeah.
older, like in
Yeah.
their 50s, 60s.
Do it
And
again.
I started dropping the B-side Cool and the Gang stuff. I started doing like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stuff. I didn't go for here's the track you've heard 2 million times. I
Right.
went deep and I just watched them bop their heads. And afterwards, he's like, dude, I got so many compliments on Cocktail. My uncles were flipping out. I go, the two dudes in the back. He goes, yeah. I said, yeah, that's who I played to.
Right.
He
You
starts
almost have to
laughing. He
pick
goes,
somebody to play
"Seriously?"
to sometimes.
I said,
Yeah.
I looked at them and I said, if I can get those two happy, everyone around them is going to be thrilled. And they were. It's that deep dive. That's the wedding difference. You have to have that visual effect.
Yeah.
Happiness is infectious.
I wonder.
yeah.
I wonder if, and you asked the question before, and now you got me thinking about it. Because as a DJ, well, okay, doesn't really matter what kind of party I'm doing, if it's mobile or if it's club or whatever. If I've got a crowd and I want to get something going on, I will pick a group to play to.
Yeah.
It might be really pretty 22-year-old girls. I'll play to them for a while, and then everybody else will join in because they want to be what the cool kids are doing.
Yep.
Or, or maybe it's the Puerto Rican couple, or I don't know, it's somebody. I'm playing to them, and I'm trying to get them to react, and hopefully other people,
They follow their lead. Yeah.
I wonder. Well, let's say you're doing radio. Let's say you're doing terrestrial radio, isn't it, or XM, or Twitch, and not paying any attention to the chat. I wonder if the way to start that set out is to imagine a group of people in your head and find somebody, anybody, an imaginary person, and play to them.
I think
I
if
wonder
you
if you
have
do that.
if you have a parameter, like I do a dive bar.
Yeah.
What happened to the family hour?
What about family?
Well, I think that's different than what we're kind of what Brian's pointing
the
to.
family hour concept is something you're doing during dancing.
Right.
What I'm
So you're
talking
going,
about
like,
is something we're doing
That's the
during
low
dinner
hanging
cocktail.
fruit. Well, Brian, I mean, the dive bar concept started in Vegas and it continued because the concept in my mind is if I say I'm doing dive bar tonight, it's a rock night. I'm not going to play mainstream rock. I'm going to play the rock stuff from a segment or a generation, but it's not going to be, here's this Rolling Stones Start Me Up song. Like that doesn't make sense. I could see playing Heaven by the Rolling Stones because 99% of the people I know have never heard it. It was on Some Girls. It's a great song. So I think there's that. If you you have to give some sort of a descriptive term that at least opens the door. Like I'm doing a dive bar set tonight and it's chill. That opens the door to anything I want that's kind of mellow. When I did or I did a dive bar one Sunday night, either mellower or some term for rock. And tracks like, The Damage Done by Foreigner got played and Turn the Page got played and tracks like that. but I tried not to play, even though Turn the Page is pretty well known. I tried not to play the really heavy, well-known tracks.
Right.
Because I thought, here's the rule. I've set the standard by saying.
Let me ask you,
No.
which version of Turn the Page?
The Bob Seger live.
Oh,
the only good to me, the best.
They have a newer version. I guess it's remix or whatever, and that's awesome.
Is it really? Him live from like 77, 78 with the Silver Bullet Band to me is
that's the only version.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I think the quality on the remaster is amazing.
Believe it or not, I can't stand when I pick up tracks now, especially Tidal does this. And there's the term I hate, remaster. And I'm like, son of a bitch, you had to go and change this, and this.
Maybe I phrased that wrong, but he actually did a live version that is high quality.
Okay.
You know,
there's good remasters.
Yeah, Def Leppard did this to me when they re-released Bringing on the Heartache remastered, and they added keyboards. And
that's
no,
that's
what? That's not what I want.
That's like remixed.
No, that's
that's not remastered. No, you added something. Remastering is if you want to. And the downside of remastering, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. I would love to hear a band re-release an album with what they've learned. I.e., if Aerosmith said tomorrow, we're re-releasing our first album, but we're re-releasing it today and we're playing on it the way we play today. I'd love to hear the nuance differences in each track. You're not doing the track, you're playing it as you play it today.
I kind of think the magic is the moment, though.
Oh, I 100%
Especially
agree.
With something like that.
It's more me, I would be interested in the interpretation.
Yeah.
Look at how many bands we have that when you look at the big hits, example, Peter Frampton, his Comes Alive set the standard for some of the tracks on that album to the point where you won't listen to the studio version of, what do you feel?
Do you know
because the studio version has nothing to do with what you've become accustomed to with the live version.
That goes back to our other show where I was like, wow, can they play it as good or better live?
Right.
And Peter Frampton proved that on that track.
You know what's funny about that is, the version I prefer of Do You Feel Like We Do? It's not the studio version, and it's not the Frampton Comes Alive version.
Really?
It's neither one of those. I like the Midnight Special version.
Oh my God, really?
I know. That's the one I like. Like,
which
if
is
you put them back
live,
to back.
Is it not?
Pardon?
But
which is technically live, is it not?
It's live, but it's not Frampton.
It's not as long.
But
it's short, but it's done well. I like that.
I've seen the video. It is a good version.
Yeah, but how is the sound quality on that?
I'm watching it on YouTube. I don't have a DVD of Midnight Special for it, but I like his performance on it better.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them like that. I mean, sometimes the thoughtful edits are the best, and there are a lot of songs that I prefer the short version of. One that comes to mind, song I love is Miracles by Jefferson Starship. I can't stand the Red Octopus version of that song.
There's the really long version.
I don't like it. I like the radio edit of that one.
And I played the long version, but I cut the first minute and a half out.
Whoever made that a radio edit was very thoughtful. The way they did it, there's no fat in that.
Yeah.
It's all just beautiful and lean and done well.
I agree.
And when I listen to the album version, it feels like it's just dragging.
Well, you look at Freebird. Off Pronounced, the very first Skinner album. It's
You
an
get
amazing
tired of
song,
it,
beginning to end. But then you hear the live version from One More from the Road, and they add a piano solo, and there's a little interjection with the singer. But it's
Isn't that
primarily
the one where they had the bird tweeting?
song. Yes, at the very
Yeah.
beginning, he brings the slide over the pickups.
Yeah.
He gets that. But then they add the Play Pretty for Atlanta, and you get that essence of like you feel like you're there. Like, oh, I'm in Atlanta now, hearing Skinner play live. It's a different approach. And I think that's why I always thought, wow, I'd love to hear what the band would do with this song today. If I said, here's this song you've been playing for 40 years, would you mind recording it for me? Well, what do you mean? We already recorded it.
Yeah.
Well, you recorded it at 23. Now you're in your 60s. How would you change it? Like, just for my own ear, would you add something that makes it even better? Because you've had to play this song a bazillion times. What have you learned over those years that would make the song better?
I don't think you can make it better. Based
Usually not.
on just my thoughts. Listening to the charismatic voice, you know who that is
Yeah.
on YouTube. She says that as you get older,
You lose range.
your range gets lower and lower, and they will go an octave lower to hit the high notes, and it just doesn't sound the same.
Well, listen, go check out live video of Aerosmith in the last 2 years. And I'll be damned if Tyler hasn't figured out how to escape that at 73 years old.
Yeah, he does
because
really well.
Still,
she did a
hit
thing
some of
on
those
that too.
notes.
She is amazed that he can keep his register.
Yeah, he's way up there still.
You know, the
you know
one
what?
that
Yeah.
I always
Real
wondered
quick,
about.
Brian,
Go ahead.
there's
Jay.
a great video you've got to check out sometime on YouTube. Look up Steve Winwood acoustic. Can't Find My Way Home. And he is sitting by a fireplace. And it's funny because halfway through the song, a piece of wood explodes and pops behind him. And he doesn't even seem to notice it. And it's very prevalent on the recording. And it's obviously just him and an acoustic guitar. And it's as beautiful, if not more beautiful, than the original recording that's probably 40 years ago.
50.
And easily.
Yeah,
and it's that
50.
moment of time where you say, how in the fuck is this guy still got this? And it's his version acoustically is still so spot on, beautiful, range, everything about it. I think it's a rarity. And obviously I'm incorrect on why bands should do this because no one's ever done it. Bands don't remake their albums.
The only band that I can think of, and the one that I always kind of wondered how it would go, because his music drives me nuts. And there's certain things in his music that drives me nuts. I can't help but to wonder if Steve Miller thought that songs like Jungle Love were going to like last forever. Would he have kept the whistle? Because that's annoying.
It is.
Yeah, it's still a great
the
track,
Joker with the Maurice wee that could go away and make it a better song, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
But the whistle in Jungle Love is terrible. If it was gone, it would be a better song. So would he keep the whistle if he thought it would just never go away? Cardi B does a song. She doesn't care because you're going to be on to her next song.
I think
no one's going to care about her song.
I think Joker stands the test of time.
It'd be better without the whistle, though.
You think so?
The whistle sucks, dude.
Okay.
Works.
Not only does it suck, but in the recording, it's way up here. Like if you're going to keep it, make it real discreet, like bring it down.
That'd be a remastering thing.
Yeah.
I get you.
I don't know.
To each their own.
Howie's getting really tired. I can tell.
I think we're good.
Howie's tired.
Where are we on time?
For
an hour. We got an hour.
Only 16 hours, so I'm good.
Well, you can go ahead and kill it because we've done our hour.
Sounds like bed.
Yeah,
we've done our due.
Happy Easter.
Yeah, really.
Gotta be happy.
Enjoy Flag Day, everybody.
And I hope you're having a wonderful spring or fall.
Remember to wear your sunscreen when you go out after listening to this.
This will be out by Christmas time. But
Whoa.
I'll hold my breath.
Well, happy Hanukkah, everyone.